If you accomplish something good with hard work, the labor passes quickly, but the good endures. If you do something shameful in pursuit of pleasure, the pleasure passes quickly, but the shame endures. Gaius Musonius Rufus. This quote is really the essence of a lot about what I talk about on this show in recent times. And really it's the essence of this entire show in general. Obviously, the show is also like a Christian podcast. I try and glorify God. I talk about words of the kingdom. But it is the fact that like one of the biggest, most important lessons you need to know in your life is if you're pursuing the instant gratification, the pleasure, the thing that feels good in the moment, it's usually going to lead to something worse. And this quote sums it up completely from Gaius Musonius Rufus, who was one of the Stoic philosophers in ancient Rome back in 2,000 years ago, around the similar time of when Jesus walked the earth. It's like it makes sense why all of it has kind of it makes sense why all of it still makes sense today and why it still applies to our lives on this day. Because if you work hard and you go through the pain and the struggle that you have to deal with in order to make something good happen, whether it be like, good for yourself or good for the world, whatever it is, that work, the struggle is only temporary. That goes away and then you get to reap the benefits of your rewards. You reap what you sow. And the good endures. The good thing that you planted stays alive. And the hard work, the difficulty that you've had to overcome, it passes away. But if you do something shameful in pursuit of pleasure, the pleasure is the thing that quickly comes and goes. And the shame is what stays with you for longer. And yes, he uses the word endures, because to endure is basically to linger. It's to stay for a longer period of time. It doesn't mean for the rest of your life, but we live in a world where it is packed with pleasure. Everything that you look at it is to give you the hit. And it's easy. That's the whole point, is that it's easy, but it never fulfills you. The shame that you feel whatever it is, like if it's an addiction, if it is just scrolling, or if it's watching a show or a movie or video games, whatever it is, the shame that you wasted your time, the shame that comes with just kind of being lazy, right? Knowing that you could be doing more with your life, but you're not. That is the feeling that stays. The actual dopamine hit, the pleasure, is what quickly comes and goes. So it's very simple to say that this quote can be reworded to say, if you're pursuing something that feels good in the moment, usually it'll make you feel worse in the long run. And if you're pursuing something that feels bad in the moment, usually it will make you feel better in the long run. And we want to prioritize our life, right? It's easy to kind of look at the day-to-day and kind of be chaotic about things because you're so caught up in your emotions. Whereas if you take a step back and you look at it from the bigger picture in your life, are you doing something that is going to help your life be good in the long run, help the good endure, and you're going through a difficult time that will kind of cause that to happen? Or are you doing something that is hindering you, that is hurting you, but because you're just chasing that quick hit, that quick fix, the quick dopamine? How are you living your life? Basically is kind of how I'm asking this question. And it is the halfway point of the show, so I think it makes sense for me to talk about this type of a concept, because this is what the show is really all about, and this is what the biblical teaching, this is what God's word is also all about as well. It's like the whole point is the sins are actually like pretty pleasurous. Like humans have a tendency to sin, right? Like when someone says something bad to you, for example, bullies you for whatever reason, it would make you feel better in the moment for you to snap and be angry at them and tell them off and whatever. But God tells us not to do that because it's gonna hurt us even more anyway. Like maybe the bully punches you, or maybe you just feel the shame, right? Going back to the initial quote, you can look at lust, and lust is the same thing. It's like if you're pursuing love, which is the long term, the good thing, that will endure. Sometimes it's difficult. Love is sometimes difficult. Relationships are difficult. But if you're pursuing the quick fix, the lust, it's easy. It's much easier to just kind of, situationship, like just, go and then leave, right? And then not talk to each other again, have a one-night stand type of thing. But that never fulfills you. That there is a level of shame that lingers with that. And that's why the Bible talks about all of these things. But it is very clear to me that there is a real correlation, that that when we pursue the quick thing, it is down to our own nature that we are so drawn in because I guess of the size of it, like the appeal of these certain things, these certain human behaviors. But we have to resist our own flesh. We have to resist our own temptations because that's why temptations are a thing. That's why it's a concept. That's why the devil exists, to tempt us. Because if we overcome the temptations, it opens the door for so much good to happen. If you want the quick fix, it's not going to satisfy you. Especially if you're going back to the quote, you're doing something shameful in the pursuit of pleasure. That makes it even worse. Sometimes pleasure isn't that shameful. It's not that bad. But other times you go to extreme lengths just to get that hit. And that's probably how people are so deep into addictions, whether it be like drugs or smoking, alcohol, porn, whatever the thing may be that people are dealing with, that so many people are dealing with in this world today. It's shameful. They're shameful behaviors. They make you feel worse and they ruin your life slowly. But it's just in the extreme pursuit of that high, of the pleasure that comes with it. So is that going to be how you live your life? Or are you going to understand that, yeah, you're going through a tough time. Sometimes things are hard. Sometimes things are not the way exactly you want them to be. But you know that on the other side of it, or you trust, you have faith that on the other side of it will be something good. And that you are striving to something good. Whether it is good for yourself, good for the world, good for other people, whatever it may be. That is something more meaningful, more valuable to you and, of course, to God and to everyone involved, rather than the pursuit of the quick, easy fix. So that is the main thing. So going forward, as I get into the second half of this show, going forward, I'm going to make a couple of changes. You're going to start to see, obviously, I have to make an episode every day, so you're going to see kind of day to day. I'm going to make a few changes to the show and try and make some more further improvements to it to make it even better for you guys. But the point I'm trying to make is, as I'm getting into the second half of this show, this is going to be a drum that I beat more and more, because I think, like, if you had to choose like one thing, one kind of practical knowledge, truth that makes sense in life, it's exactly this. It is exactly this quote that I wrote down. But Gaius Musonius Rufus, who I didn't even know who he was until I like looked up the quote, and of course, the Bible supplements this in many amazing ways with many amazing verses. I just don't have one at the top of my head. Of course, I have to, do better on that. But the point is that pursuit of pleasure, the pursuit of the quick, the pursuit of the easy makes your life worse. If you feel good in the moment, it's usually going to be worse in the long run. But if you're doing something where it feels bad in the moment, it's usually going to be better in the long run, contribute to a good of some kind in the long run. That is the essence of the quote, and that is the essence of life. I think there is really no greater truth than it. Of course, there's nuance. It's never perfect. Like, sometimes the hard, difficult thing, sometimes it is going to lead you to nowhere. Like, if that's not what you're meant to do, you might waste your life. But also, at the same time, there's also lessons you get from it. So it's like, it's catch-22. But at the same time, I think without any sort of rebuttal, without any sort of refuting, any sort of potential thing counter. There you go. That's the word. Potential counter to it. Without fail, this rule applies in life. It makes sense that pursuing the good, the quick, the easy leads to long-term being bad and the shame enduring. Whereas pursuing the long suffering, the difficulty, Paul talks all the time about long suffering. Like, long suffering, the difficulty means that on the other side of that is what you're looking for, is that joy, is that good that you're trying to go and achieve. That is the thing that will endure. And that is the thing that will make for a great life. So I think this rule holds up all the time. And without fail, this rule holds up. Because even if you go through like a hard time, like I'm thinking about it now, if you go through a hard time, hard period, but like you didn't reach the thing you wanted to reach, like it didn't seem to contribute to any good in like the moment you endured for years and you went through struggle, and then there never seemed to be anything good, perhaps you still learn some underlying lessons that on your next pursuit, on your different journey, or in the years to come, those lessons will bear the real fruits and the real good that is supposed to come, that, as this quote talks about, the good that will endure in your life. So I think with that in mind, this rule holds up 100% of the time, that pursuing the good, the quick, the easy never fulfills you in the long run, ever. But pursuing the thing that is difficult in the moment is what fulfills you in the long run. I'll give a very short and quick example before I wrap up this episode. Very easy. The gym, working out, or even like just any form of physical exercise, whether it be running, like some sort of cardio, or if it be actual like physically lifting weights. In the moment, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. You have to, if it's lifting weights, you have to push and you're in the middle of the set and you're feeling real physical muscle ache, because that's how you grow, because you grow your muscles because you have to put them through strain. Similarly, when you're running, especially if you're not really fit, you're going to be feeling tired, you're going to be feeling heavy, you're going to feel like, your lungs and your heart you're going to feel the pain, you're going to feel your heart beating a lot, especially if you're not really fit. But even if you are, it's still going to be a level of pain that you have to endure. The reason why you go through that pain is because your muscles have to go through that pain, or your cardiovascular system has to go through that pain in order to strengthen itself, to be strengthened, to be better. Whether it's muscle growth or it be from a cardio standpoint, cardiovascular endurance, you have to go through the pain that comes with it in order to grow. And similarly, this is how it works in the rest of life. If you're going to even miss a week of training, you come back to train and you can't lift as much weight as you normally could have. For cardio, it's a little bit different because I played football, soccer, football, whatever you want to call it. I played it. It's a little bit different. Like, you can go 2 weeks without it and still come back and be fine. It's more than that, and then you'll start to see the difference. But whereas for physical, like actual muscle building, like bodybuilding type of thing, you can even miss like a week and you'll see like a big difference in the weight you can push. You feel weaker because you have kind of taken away from your muscles the necessary pain and tearing that it needs to go through to grow in strength and in stature and size and endurance. This is a very small example because it's like everyday life. I mean, at least for me, it's everyday life. Hopefully for a lot of you guys, it's everyday life as well. I would hope and I would pray that even if it isn't, one day it will be, because there's nothing better you can do for yourself than exercise. It applies to the rest of life as well, that the difficulty is where the good comes from. The good will endure. But the pursuing of the quick and the easy and the pleasurous thing is what will actually end up being worse and more shameful and more bad for you in the long run in your life. So that is the biggest lesson. That is the biggest point I'm trying to make. Whether it be exercise or whether it be something bigger for yourself in your life, that is why I talk about this quote. But that is going to be a big, big sentiment going forward in the show, because that's probably one of the biggest philosophies I live my life by. And I'm going to finish recording this episode. I still have to upload the episode, which is a process. And then I'm going to go out, and even if it's super late, I'm still going to go and I'm going to do a workout. I'm going to do some running because I really need it. Because even if my like, if you haven't been following last week, my back got hurt, so I missed a little bit. So I got to get back into it, right? And it would be very easy to just be lazy and say, I'll do it tomorrow, whatever. But I'm not going to do that, because I know how you can fall into that procrastination. You can fall into those bad feelings, bad habits. And I look back at this exact quote and say, like, yeah, I don't want to do it. It's difficult. It's going to hurt. But, like, that's where the growth is going to be. And that is where I'm going to, burn off a lot of the calories that I need to burn off, release all the toxins. And it's going to be better for me than if I didn't do it. So as with this is kind of how you have to look at the whole broader spectrum of your life, everything going on. It's very easy to pursue the pleasure. That's why it's there, because it's easy. It feels good. But the more you go against your natural human feelings and push against it, push towards the difficulty, is where you will actually find better, good, and more, probably even greater amounts of pleasure, but not cheap pleasure, the long-lasting version of it that comes from your long pursuits. And the good that you're pursuing in your life will truly endure for a longer period of time. So that is what I invite you to do every day. Pursue the difficulty. Try and do something difficult that you don't want to do. That's a key thing that you don't want to do every day in your life. And you'll see that slowly compound into something more meaningful. So that's all I got for today. It was a little bit of a shorter one, but I did rant for a little bit. So again, forgive me for that. I hope you enjoyed. If you're still here, I appreciate you for being here. I hope that this message, and as well as a lot of other messages I say on this podcast, I hope that it really does resonate with you going forward in your life. As always, show your support in every way that you can. Like the video and subscribe on YouTube and follow on Spotify. I really do appreciate all of your support. So, as we reach the halfway point of the show, there's going to be a lot moving forward. And you're going to see some changes slowly, kind of in the next couple weeks, be rolled out to this show moving forward. So, without further ado, I'm going to end this episode right now because it's time for me to go do the rest of the day's tasks that I need to do. So, thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. As always, I will see you guys tomorrow for the next episode.